it's nothing is accomplished in one day, right? You need to commit. Nothing great is accomplished in one
I
day.
feel like people in this day and age too, like they don't want to do hard stuff. Like our life right now is set up to be so easy that like people don't want to do hard stuff anymore at all. You know, like everything is so easy for us. We're given everything.
You remind me of David Goggins. You know David Goggins?
Yeah, of course.
He says it's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are just fucking lazy.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Talk of the Town. We got my man Shark here. I got to get into it. I got to ask you, bro, how did you get the nickname Shark? Like, where did this all come from?
Yeah, so right before we started, I told you guys I came to the United States in 2011 from Ukraine. I was born and raised in Ukraine, and I grew up a swimmer. And I was one of the top swimmers in my age category in Ukraine. I was a junior national champion multiple times, also silver, bronze medalist and stuff like that. And Ukraine, I don't know, man. It's a country with its own cultural funny things, and one of the things is it's pretty common for kids give each other nicknames, and normally it's like funny nicknames or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I am not letting anybody give me a nickname. If I'm gonna have a nickname, I'm gonna choose it myself. And since I'm a swimmer, you know, it felt aligned with who I am, what I'm doing, and I was like, I'm passionate about swimming. I'm a swimmer, so I want to be known as Shark in this culture, in this in this area or whatever.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I love it. Gotta choose your own nickname.
Especially you don't want to go against like the shark, especially in your swimming. Like you're like, oh, that guy's the shark.
And it's funny. I feel like it's shark is one of those sea creatures that is not necessarily the fastest, but it's for sure not one of those creatures that anybody wants to mess with, you know. And I was like, it just represents strength and character and stuff like that. Just a powerful animal in the sea world, right? So I was like, if this is my world, aquatics, water, then I'm gonna be a shark in it.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
100%. And how did your kind of journey go from swimming over at Westchester to like where you are today?
Well, I've always been passionate about sports. What I do now is I'm a personal trainer and online fitness coach, and I've always been passionate about just sports in general. The idea of growing athletically, becoming stronger, faster, better physically, and that's never just physically, right? I'm sure you guys work out and it's never just physical, I'm sure there's been days when you didn't want to work out, but you came in, got a training session in, and you felt better mentally and spiritually. It just lifts you up and gets you to a new level. So that's kind of what I'm really about, growth, that type of mindset, self-improvement. And I was like, I found purpose in this, and it's something that I was really passionate about doing for myself, but I've also found passion in helping others. So, yeah.
That's always the best feeling, like helping somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you probably love that.
Oh, totally.
Picture this. You're excited to buy tickets to that event you've been waiting for. You find great seats at what seems like a reasonable price, but then bam, fees, taxes, charges appear out of nowhere, and suddenly your budget's blown. Does this sound familiar? Well, Eagle Eye Ticket Management is here to write a different story. They believe in total price transparency, meaning the price you see is the price you pay. No plot twists, no surprises, and for our Talk of the Town listeners, there's a happy ending. Mention our podcast and save 10% on your purchase. That's Eagle Eye Ticket Management, where every ticket has a clear price tag.
Totally.
How'd you get into? So I saw you do a lot of like the boxing and stuff now, right?
Yeah.
How did that come about? And have you always like boxed?
Yeah. So no, not always. I actually started boxing here in the United States.
Oh, okay.
My freshman year of college. I wanted to box in Ukraine, but you know, growing up as a kid, I would ask my parents to sign me up for like a boxing gym or something, but they were against it. It was like they wouldn't allow me to join a boxing gym because, and their reasoning was, they didn't want me to get trauma to the head and stuff like that because it's a dangerous sport, and I get it. I don't blame them. Um, but yeah, boxing was one of my favorite sports growing up, and I grew up a pretty insecure kid. Pretty, um, I was like shy, scared of a lot of things. In Ukraine, I grew up in the 90s. It was a rough place. It's still rough right now, as you guys know, with all the war and stuff like that. But in the 90s, it was just, that's when the Soviet Union just fell apart in 1991. I was born right before that happened. It was just like a rough time, a lot of crime and stuff like that, and just people, like a lot of mean people. And I was just scared and insecure. And like I said, boxing was one of my favorite sports. And back then, Mike Tyson was just like at his prime, or just like a little bit maybe past his prime. And I was looking at him and I was just fascinated with how badass he is, um, how the way he fights, the way he carries himself with so much confidence. And, I was like, man, nobody can mess with that guy, you know what I mean? And I was like, if I can be anything, if I can possess any of his skills, or if I can learn how to fight anything close like that, that was one of the things that sort of drove me mentally to be able to learn how to box. So that, I guess it was fear, fear and insecurity drove that desire to, learn boxing and become a better fighter, I guess. And then when I actually started boxing here in the United States, I was 20 years old when I joined the boxing gym. So at that time, I didn't have any skills, but I was just really bad. And I was like, it was sort of one of those feelings. Finally, I get to do what I've been wanting to do for a long time.
Unleash the shark.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And, I just fell in love with the process. Boxing workout is one of the greatest workouts you can get. It's so good for your body. It makes you better at so many things, coordination, the mental focus that it requires. There's so many technical things. It's impossible to master. You know what I mean? It's like there's no ceiling in that game. No matter how good you get, I don't care how good you get, you can always show up and get a little bit better. So I became addicted to that, and just, not for, like, I never had a goal to become a professional boxer and be a world champion or make a career out of it as a fighter. But because I enjoyed doing it so much and training it so much, I started doing it for fitness and for health and for, just self-development reasons. And I actually, found out that it's a big boom right now for boxing and fitness industry. I can share about this later, but after I graduated Westchester, I moved to LA for 7. I lived in LA for 7 years, and I was working in one of the top boxing fitness gyms there. And it's so popular and people love it. And we had all kinds of celebrities come through the gym, and it's just, people who try it, they get it, because like I said, it's a great workout. There's so many physical benefits to it, but most importantly, how it makes you feel mentally, and I feel like it's a spiritual practice too, because it requires you to be 100% focused on what you're doing, stay in the moment, be present. You have a task in front of you. You can't be just in your head, distracted, thinking about your problems or whatever is going on in outside world or whatever. You just have to be locked in, and it's just like, I don't know. It makes you better in so many ways. So
Yeah, or else you can get knocked out, right?
yeah, but like I said,
if you're actually fighting.
Yeah. Well, competitive boxing and boxing for fitness are two different things, right? But initially, I did get into boxing, and I boxed amateur for a little bit. I got one fight under my belt, just because I wanted to get that experience. You know what I mean? I just wanted to.
That's got to be cool, and like in front of people.
Yeah.
Boxing.
Yeah, it's cool. I did the amateur thing for a couple of years. Like I said, I did one fight, and it was amazing. I'm really glad. It was tough. It was tough because like I said, I got into it really late, and I was traveling around here in this area, like Philly, Lancaster, West Grove, Pennsylvania, all these towns, Oxford, sparring. There's some tough boxers in this area, and I was just getting my ass beat in sparring all the time.
Yeah, Philly. I feel like the Philly area is pretty,
Of course, Rocky, man.
yeah.
And Creed
pretty
and all
big
these movies. Like, it's
boxing
the
town.
culture here, right? People are passionate about sports in general. Like,
Yeah.
look how people are passionate about Eagles and
Oh, man.
Flyers
Yeah.
and Phillies and Sixers. But people are also just as passionate about boxing too, because especially because, like we mentioned, Rocky movies and all that.
Isn't Bernard? What's his face?
Bernard Hopkins.
Bernard Hopkins, a Philly guy too.
Yeah, he is. Bernard Hopkins, Denny Garcia. There's
Oh,
been
yeah.
a bunch of Marvin Hagler. There's been a bunch of greats out of this area.
I could see boxing being like
Oh, yeah.
an addictive workout for sure.
It's amazing. And by the way, speaking of which, make sure you guys visit. I'm at iCore Fitness, gym called iCore Fitness. It's right next to Iceline hockey rink. And I teach boxing fitness classes there, and first class is free, so you're welcome to come and check it out.
Sweet.
I
Yeah.
can promise a great workout and a good time.
That's
I like
so
that.
funny. iCore is actually one of our clients we work with.
Oh, that's
We
awesome.
do like their social media and videography.
Oh,
That's-
beautiful.
Yeah. So I guess kind of question I had, you mentioned like doing boxing for fitness and as a class, which, I mean, it sounds amazing. I've never done one myself, but I mean, I'd love to. I guess the question I have is like, for people who might be a little nervous or, afraid, like, oh, I'm not a boxer, what would you tell them about, doing a class with you?
I get it. Great question. I totally get it. It can be intimidating just to go to the gym, right? Even, especially for women too, but for anybody, period. It can be intimidating to, oh my God, boxing. What am I gonna get hit? But no, like I said, what I do is boxing for fitness, and boxing for fitness is not the same thing as boxing to compete and actually fight. So in my classes, there's no contact. You never touch anybody but the heavy bag and the equipment that you're working with, I encourage people who are listening to give it a shot, because it's, like I said, it's a great workout. My classes are pretty short. It's a 45-minute workout, but it's high intensity. It's great. It's not you don't just only box by working on the heavy backs, and I also work with people by holding mitts for them and do mitt work with them. But we also do full body conditioning, a lot of core work. So it's like a great full body workout. You're gonna sweat, you're gonna have fun, and I play great music. It's good people who come through the gym. There's no big egos, and it's just a very cool, friendly, positive environment. And so far, I mean, we just started at iCore. I just started teaching boxing classes there like a month ago or a month and a half ago, and so far, most of the people who tried the free class decided to sign up and at least buy a 5-pack of classes because
nice.
they liked it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Do you have like any sort of like mentor or somebody that you had that like kind of like obviously you got into the boxing, you wanted to do it, but is there someone that like helped you train and get better and kind of get into the whole coaching aspect and stuff like that you've looked up to?
Yeah. So a lot of what I know about boxing, I learned from the coaches who I worked with when I was boxing amateur, so like competitive boxing, right? I learned the whole fighting side of the game. But then when I moved to Los Angeles in 2011, I got a job at, I became a personal trainer, and my degree from Westchester is athletic coaching and physical education, you know? So it's all about coaching, and the only job I ever did in my life was coaching. My very first job was a swimming teacher. So I taught little kids how to swim first. And then after that, in Westchester, in the gym where I started boxing, my second job was I was leading strength and conditioning classes. And then when I moved to LA, I also got my personal trainer certification, and I joined this gym called Box and Burn, which has been named #1 boxing and fitness gym in California by Men's Health magazine and Yelp. And I've learned a lot about another side of this game, which is boxing for fitness, which is, you know, like I said, it's a lot different than competitive boxing, but for a person who is not looking to compete and just looking to do boxing as a workout, right, to improve their fitness and health, this is where I learned the most, right, because that gym had a lot of amazing coaches and trainers who taught me a lot of tricks, a lot about mitt work, a lot about working with clients one-on-one, a lot about how to lead large group fitness classes. Like I used to lead fitness classes that had almost 50 people in it, you know, and that's a whole different game, you know what I mean, comparing to boxing for competition. So I'm glad though, because I got a taste of both worlds, you know what I mean, and it was clear to me that, you know, I have a calling to do this, you know. Don't get me wrong, I love professional boxing, competitive boxing, but I have a calling. I don't have a calling to work with fighters, you know. I work with regular people, you know. My clients are from all kinds of areas of life, you know. I have clients who are lawyers, I have clients who are also personal trainers, I've worked with nurses, I've worked with, you know, your regular 9 to 5, whatever kind of job people. So I can work with anybody. I work with kids, I work with adults, I work with elderly people. So, yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I know from boxing, or at least looking at all your videos and stuff like that, like it's the mental part of working out and going through these physical, it looks like they're tough trainings.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the, I guess you got some of the guys like strapped weights on them and stuff like that.
Mm.
Not that it's intimidating or anything, but like, can you speak about like how like the mental part of the fitness and boxing and stuff like that?
Absolutely. You know, look, life is hard. Would you agree with that? Life is hard.
Yeah.
Everybody will face hardships and adversity in life, right? Not like, I don't care if you were born in a family of billionaires. You're going to face your own challenges. You're going to face your own difficulty. You're going to face your own adversity, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter the circumstances, you're gonna face dark times in your life. Everybody goes through their own shit. And when you train, you know, you face difficulty, you know? And the way I structure my training is there's got to be progression, right? I, I- like, if a person comes to me and they're 50 years old and they're 40 pounds overweight, I'm not going to put them through the same workout that I put myself through. Do you know what I mean? There's levels, right? And for everybody, it's different. For everybody, their life is different, and their life offers them unique challenges and hardships, and adversity hits them with all kinds of different adversity. So the same it is in the gym. When you show up in the gym, you have challenges to overcome. You have goals to accomplish, and with the smart, structured training plan, and also what you do outside of the gym as far as recovery, your nutrition, and all these things, activity level, you can have, you can map out a plan. Okay, how do I get better? How do I get stronger? How do I improve the way I feel? How do I feel more confident in my own skin? You know, um, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you
Totally.
people get a lot more when you're, at least when you're boxing and stuff like that. I feel like confidence. You get a lot more confidence.
Oh, it has to.
100%, right? Like, for example, like one of my clients who I'm working with right now, um, she's a girl, right? And she's 33 years old, and she started training with me in August, and she's like, and she's not in the bad shape. She wasn't overweight. She looks great, but she's just like, I want to get on a new level with my fitness. I want to get more confident and just feel better in my body and stuff like that. Cause, you know, she didn't necessarily have like a structured training routine. She was walking the dog, whatever, taking yoga classes here and there, but nothing like structured and goal oriented, right? And so she told me that she wants to get stronger and you know, achieve that next level. And I was like, okay, so let's test where you are. And on the first day, we tested just basic, you know what I mean, sort of fitness test, like, can you do pull-ups? Can you do push-ups? If yes, how many, you know? And, you know, she couldn't do, so the example I wanted to make is pull-ups, right? For example, she couldn't do pull-ups. We tried, she couldn't pull up even halfway. So we sort of like, okay, but would you like to learn how to do pull-ups? She's like, yes. Like, if you imagine yourself doing 10 pull-ups, does that feel like, is that something that excites you? Would you like to be able to do that? She's like, yes, really, like, I really want that. I was like, okay, great. So she recently did, we started in August. She recently, last week, hit her first 10 pull-ups. Super clean, no kipping, full range of motion, chin over the bar, elbows fully locking out at the bottom.
Those are tough too.
Yeah,
And,
that's impressive.
Yeah.
Tough.
You know, and she's never done anything like that in her life. And you should have seen her face when she hit that last rep and her chin got off the bar and she hops off the bar and she feels so happy. Like, this is the most addicting feeling when you have, when you set a goal in front of yourself that is challenging to get, and you know it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be quick either, it's not going to take 2 weeks to accomplish. So we started in August, and right now it's February, and she just hit it. So it took us what, 6.5 or 7 months to get there, to get here. But you know, this is what's kind of cool about it, because you set a goal. It could be with pull-ups. It could be with other strength exercise, whatever that is. It could be, I want to learn how to box, and I want to be able to do this. And you set that goal, and then you map out a plan. Okay, I'm going to work out 2 or 3 times a week consistently, 1 hour per session, you know, and then you figure out, okay, what other goals do I have, and what's necessary to be done in order for me to get there. And this is exactly what I help people with. You know, if a person wants to lose some fat and get lean, I can help them with that. If a person wants to get stronger and improve their endurance, I can help them with that. If the person just wants to, if the person is already in shape and they already been working out and they've been an athlete, but they just want to learn how to box, I can help them with that, you know. And that makes you better at life, you know. It doesn't just make you a better athlete. It makes you a better person. It makes you, like, because when you go through these challenges and you overcome them and you make progress, it makes you a better person. You learn about yourself. You learn how resilient you are. You learn how dedicated you are. You learn how disciplined you are, you know, because it's not easy. It's nothing is accomplished in one day, right? You need to commit. Nothing great is accomplished in one day.
I feel like people in this day and age too, like they don't want to do hard stuff. Like our life right now is set up to be so easy that like people don't want to do hard stuff anymore at all. You know, like everything is so easy for us. We're given everything.
You remind me of David Goggins. You know David Goggins?
Yeah, of course.
He says, it's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend. Because most people are just fucking lazy and weak.
Yeah.
You know? It's
True.
easy to be great. Like, if you decide and commit, like, nothing stops you, right? Because, like you said, because we live in this world where, like, everything's so comfortable. People don't need to leave their house. They get McDonald's delivered to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they
real,
sit there in front of TV, play video games and watch Netflix all day. And they don't, like, a lot of people don't even leave their house, you know?
Yeah, especially after COVID and stuff now, like if you're working from home and everything too. I felt like that, like in my life, there's definitely been times where, and like when I was younger and stuff, like I was sleeping late, like watching movie, like staying up and then going to school the next day, or just like eating snacks like really late and like candies and stuff. And I was like wondering why I felt so bad.
Right.
And you look back now and you're like, dude, you're such an idiot. Or like eating fast food and stuff. It's like, obviously you felt terrible.
Right.
I can't imagine like living that life again. You know, it's like, oh.
I feel that 100%. I've struggled with being overweight myself. Like, I'm not a genetically gifted person. Like, if I were just to cruise through my life, I swear I would be obese. I swear. Like, I put on weight easily like this. Like, I just got sick. Over the holidays, I put on a little bit of weight, which is normal, right? You know, holidays happen once a year.
Sure.
And all this, my mom cooked some amazing Ukrainian food, and I just couldn't resist and say no, especially when she was trying to, you know, please everybody for New Year's and Christmas and stuff like that. So I was prepared, you know, because it's what I do. It's my profession. I was like, okay, I'm okay with it. I'm gonna relax a little bit over the holidays, and I'm okay with putting on a few pounds because I know how to get back on track, you know. But holidays went by, and I gained like 7 or 8 pounds, and I got sick, and that messed me up, bro.
Oh man.
And I was just like immobile for 2 weeks, feeling like shit. And I was just, you know, different people cope with things different ways. My biggest struggle throughout my entire life was food, you know. Like, food is how I comfort myself and whatever, man. And so I was just eating and not moving. And I put on like 20 more pounds over 3 weeks. Like, so over 3 weeks, I gained 20 plus pounds.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm back in the game now. I already lost 13 of those pounds that I've gained, but
That is a crazy flux, though.
I'm just, yeah,
That's
I
insane. In 3
fluctuate.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fluctuate a lot, and I can eat, bro. I'm a person with a big appetite. You know, I feel like if I wanted to, I could be one of those competitive eaters or whatever. I can down some wings, no problem, man. Sign me up.
What's your favorite? What's your food of choice? What's your
I
like?
love wings.
Wings?
I love wings. I love steak.
What's your wing spot? What Westchester?
In Westchester,
Yeah.
I like Saloon.
Okay.
Okay.
Saloon has really good wings. Their smoke wings are really good, or just
Ooh.
regular hot wings, whatever. Yeah, I like
Smoked
them.
wings are game changer.
They're so good.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Kind of bring this conversation back a little bit. I'm curious to see what brought you from LA back to Westchester. Like, how did that all happen? Like, why'd you leave? It sounds
Yeah.
like it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, we didn't leave LA because we didn't like it there. We liked LA. First, it was me and my wife who moved there together, right? And then LA, so far, it's been the most beautiful chapter of my life, LA. Met a lot of great people. It was a great school of life. Like I've grown professionally. I've grown mentally. While I was in LA in 2019, I was diagnosed with a late stage of cancer. Beat that. Cancer and chemotherapy fucked me up, broke my body down. Like I had to start my whole fitness journey from scratch in 2020 when the COVID hit. Can you imagine?
Oh my
COVID
God.
hits. I just finished
Oof.
chemotherapy, and it's like, you know what I mean. All this, it was interesting, but
That's a struggle. Like
Yeah.
mentally, physically.
It
my
was.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Yeah.
it was a struggle, and in the moment it was obviously difficult, but I look back now and I'm so grateful, because it made me stronger mentally. It made me grow as a man, as a person, as a husband, and so I overcame cancer, got back to doing what I do, training people, all that, and then everything was beautiful, and my wife and I, we had a son in 2022, and that's when kind of things started to change, priorities, I guess, because LA is not the safest city, there's a lot of homeless people, a lot of crazy motherfuckers out there on the streets, a lot of crime happening, and when you become a parent, you don't want your child to grow up in this kind of environment, and
Yeah, having a kid in the cities, I feel like it's a different world. It
Yeah.
makes you rethink everything.
yeah, and initially we didn't plan right away to move back to Westchester, but in April last year, we came here because a buddy of mine who was my roommate in college and who I used to swim with, he was getting married, right? So he had a wedding. He invited us for a wedding, so we visited here, and I swear to God, as soon as we touched down in Philly, and something just inside of me hit, and as we drive from Philly to Westchester, I just have these butterflies in my stomach, and I don't want to say anything to my wife yet, right? And then the next day, we just hopped in the car and we went for a ride right around Westchester because it's been a couple of years since we've been back. And I don't know, we drive around and my wife goes, man, Westchester feels so good. It just feels like home. It's so nice and peaceful here and clean and beautiful. And I'm like, would you want to move back here? And she starts crying, man.
Oh wow.
She starts crying. She's like, oh my God, I would have never thought in a million years. Because we used to talk all the time how we loved living in California and LA is our town, and California is beautiful, and we really enjoyed living there. But
Especially this time of the year, you're like, oh man, I wish it's back.
yeah, I mean, we ain't scared of a little cold.
Of
We're
course,
from
no, I get it.
Ukraine.
You're
Ukraine
from
gets even
Ukraine.
colder. So, but yeah, man, we just it was irresistible calling. We didn't plan on it. Like I said, we just came here for my buddy's wedding, and both me and my wife, we had irresistible calling to move back here. And initially we were like, all right, hold on. Let's not make any emotional decisions.
Right.
So we started talking about it. But the more we talked about it, the clearer it's become to us that, you know, this is the right move for us. We opened up a notes app on the iPhone and we're like, okay, let's list all the pros of LA and California that we're not gonna have in Westchester, right? The climate, the weather, the palm trees, the Pacific Ocean, whatever, right? We listed everything. But then we also listed the negatives, right? Homeless people, prices, gas prices, housing prices, crime, stuff like that. And we did the same thing for Westchester, pros and cons. And it was a clear, decisive victory for Westchester. So we're like, okay, we're
We're
moving.
glad you came back, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you did that. My wife and I did the exact same thing when we were living in Brooklyn. We did the pros and the cons for both, and that's how we just share a shared notes app. And
Yeah,
we talked about
yeah.
it, and then we had the same feeling too when we came and visited one time. We were like, "Oh my gosh, this is like."
Yeah.
It
We
just,
even- yeah.
It's so funny you had the,
You
the
see, you
same-
get me. We even asked ChatGPT. We're like, ChatGPT, compare living in LA to Westchester, Pennsylvania. And ChatGPT bullet pointed everything. Like, it's safer, it's cleaner, it's
That's crazy.
you know, the prices, everything, you know? So we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been back and visited LA?
Not
Since-
yet. We just moved back in July.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
it's
wow,
been
is that
there.
Yeah,
recent?
it's
Wow.
recent. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We just moved back. So, yeah, I'm sure I will though. We still have, you know, we met a lot of great people there who we consider friends now, and who are still out there. And yeah, I'm sure we'll go back. Not to live though.
Yeah.
I think Westchester is the
It'd be
spot
tough. It'd
for
be
us.
tough to leave Westchester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, I guess for like the both of you, since you had similar experiences, I'm just curious, like, what was that moment like where you're like, oh man, like Westchester's it? Like, what was that feeling? If you could describe it.
For me,
Yeah.
it happened recently when like I said, when I came back from my buddy's wedding, because I didn't initially, when I came here to go to college,
Yeah.
swim here, right? I did not appreciate Westchester as much as I should have. That's what I realized, you know, because I guess I didn't have, you know, I didn't see America yet. Like
Sure.
I haven't visited anywhere. Now I've traveled America. You know, I've been to New York, I've been to Florida, I've been to Georgia, Ohio, Indiana, California, Arizona, Nevada. Like I've traveled to a couple of different states, and now I can compare what it's like living here to what it's like living in other places. And so for me, that moment happened when we came here to visit before we decided to move for my buddy's wedding, right? When we came here, it was just, man, like everything about this place is so unique, and if like I can't like give you a clear answer because it's all on the intuitive level. You know what I mean? I just feel like my soul feels
Totally.
home here. I just feel so good here. I just feel home here. Like I would not. I'm from Ukraine, right? But if I were to go back home to the town where I grew up and where I was born in Ukraine, I would not feel the same. Here, I feel home. I feel at peace. I love this town. I love the people here, the energy of people, the culture. I love how people are passionate about sports. I love the whole Philly vibe. You know what I mean? The Northeast, like I don't know. It's just such a rich culture, rich history here, and you feel it. It's like in the air. You know what I mean? And that's when it hit me. When we came here for my buddy's wedding, it's just like fuck. There's no other place like this, man. And that's when we had that irresistible, like I said, calling to move back. And it's been 7 months since we came back, and since we moved back, like I hadn't doubted our decision, not for a millisecond, bro. Like
Oh,
I'm
wow.
just so
Love
happy
that.
we're here. Like I'm so happy, so grateful to be here.
Do you have family in the area too? Also?
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, we're from Ukraine. Me and my wife. My parents immigrated from Ukraine also to Westchester. They live here.
Is that
in-
when you were in school?
Yeah,
Okay.
in 2014, when the initial first invasion of Russia happened. That's when they moved here in 2014.
So that's great that they're.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, you must be so happy that they came.
So
and,
happy, man.
oh my goodness, that
Yeah.
must have been a relief, especially in another country
Yeah,
like that young. Oh man,
Yeah.
that is. I can't even imagine.
yeah.
I really can't. That's awesome.
Thanks.
But dude, this has been
Yes.
great. I love your story. Man, we've seen like moving to a different country, moving from East Coast to West Coast, and having you back where it all kind of started. I mean, it feels like a homecoming for you,
For sure, 100%.
and you've been crushing it too on like Instagram and
Yeah.
everything too. Matt and I definitely took saw and we're like, we got to get the shark guy
Yeah, you're
on here.
killing it. You're killing it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.